Hello friends, how are you? Thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Sarah. I like to read, I love books, and that's what I talk about here on this channel. Links to all the books I talk about will be in the description box down below. That is an affiliate link, so if you buy anything through that link, I will get a cut. If you like my videos, if you like my channel, feel free to subscribe. If you want to get every notification for every video I put out, go ahead and hit the bell beside the subscribe button. That gives you the option to get every single notification from a channel. And feel free to like the video as well. All those things help me out and help you to see more of me if I'm what you like. This video, I'm going to be looking at the books I finished in June. So the first couple of them I actually started in May, but I finished them in June, so I'm counting them toward my June reading wrap-up. So the first one I finished was Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This is a romance. It reminded me why I don't read much romance. It was reasonably well written. The plot progressed in a reasonable way. Romance just isn't my thing. And this, I mean, it's probably someone else's favorite book. It's just not for me. The next book I read was The Extraordinary Adventures of Alfred Kropp. There, you can see that. And I thought this was so much fun. Alfred is orphaned. He lives with his uncle, and his uncle takes on a heist job for which he is not prepared and drags Alfred into it, and things progress from there. And I found Alfred to be a very, very fun character. He's a little bit sassy, although I'm not entirely sure if he intends to be sassy or if he's just very straightforward and says the very obvious things that other people don't want to acknowledge. But he was a lot of fun, and the book itself was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun reading it. I think I rated it 5 stars. The next one I read was Bluegate Fields from Anne Perry. I got probably about 15 Anne Perry books from someone in my local Buy Nothing group. And so this was the first Anne Perry book I've read. It was fine. It's a mystery set in Victorian London. It was fine. It wasn't the best book I've ever read. It certainly wasn't the worst book I've ever read. If you really enjoy mystery and if you enjoy historical books, historical settings, you might enjoy Anne Perry. This particular one dealt with a young, well, I say young boy, about 15, 16 years old, was killed after having had a relationship with an older man. And she doesn't get into the details of that relationship, but she also doesn't talk about modern ideas about homosexuality. She really lets her characters convey their own ideas about that. And so I think it's possible that book could be triggering for some people.
Hi guys, Editing Sarah here. I really stumbled over this section trying to explain what I meant. I was trying to say that the author doesn't differentiate super clearly, doesn't make very clear the fact that homosexuals are not necessarily pedophiles. She doesn't equate the two, but she doesn't make that distinction very clear. And given the nature of the case that she's written, it would be easy for someone to go away with the idea that she believed they were the same thing.
The next one I read was The Whispering Skull, which is the second book in the Lockwood and Company series. I actually listened to this one on audiobook as I did the first one. These are by Jonathan Stroud, and I think these are just wonderful. They're so much fun. Again, they're YA. The setting is an alternate timeline, modern day London, but sometime in the last 80 years or so, there has been an infestation of ghosts and paranormal manifestations. And adults usually cannot see or hear these manifestations. Only children can. And then some children are especially gifted at seeing, hearing, and occasionally someone can even communicate with these ghosts. And so there are companies They employ children to do the work of clearing out these malevolent forces. Lockwood is a young man, I want to say he's 14, 15 or so, and he has started his own company, and he employs two other young people in his company, and it's a little bit of a David and Goliath situation. The small company pitted against the large companies. The small company run by children and staffed by children. It's just the three of them running and staffing their own work, up against all the big companies, and there's a little bit of rivalry and sometimes a little friendly and sometimes not so friendly. But the books themselves, I think, are just excellently done. They're tons of fun. Then the next one I read was My Sister the Serial Killer. I did listen to this on audiobook, and it is by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I probably said that wrong. And it is set, I don't remember which country, it is set somewhere in Africa. I really enjoyed it. It is kind of slow moving. It's not all about action and running places and fights. It's really about the internal life of this woman who is facing the fact that her sister has killed too many people. She's killed enough now that she technically qualifies as a serial killer, and the narrator is disturbed by that. She's trying to figure out how to have a relationship with the rest of her family. The resolution really comes in her deciding how to feel about her sister and how to relate to her sister. So I found that very fascinating. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the look into another culture, as I always do. But it probably isn't a book for everybody because it isn't action-packed. The resolution doesn't reside in the kinds of things we're used to in books about serial killers. The next book I read was Blink, nonfiction, Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking by Malcolm Gladwell. It also is quite good. I enjoy Gladwell's work. I think a lot of people do. He's very thoughtful. He's very well researched. He talks to a lot of people. He has a good balance between the research. He presents a good balance between the research and just people's stories to kind of make it come alive. I gave this 4 stars. I didn't think it was perfect or absolutely wonderful, but it was quite good, and I understand why people like it. The next one I read, again, listened to on audiobook. I just ran across it when I was going through my library's online catalog. It was Tasting the Past, The Science of Flavor and the Search for the Origins of Wine by Kevin Begos, B-E-G-O-S. It was interesting. He talks about how scientists are decoding wine. They're decoding the ingredients that were used in ancient wines when they can find them, residue from them in, ancient amphora, that kind of thing. It was an interesting story about where wine has come from, where it might go in the future. And then I read another Anne Perry book, Death on Blackheath. And again, a good solid mystery set in Victorian London. That's solid mysteries. If you enjoy mystery, you'll probably enjoy that. The next one I read was Goldfinger by Ian Fleming. That's a James Bond novel, and I posted a review of that last week, and I will put the link for that in one of these corners, whichever one it is. I rated it 2 stars. I reserve 1 stars for the books I don't even finish because they're so bad. Yeah, I didn't love it. Then I read Sorry of the Gods, which again, I posted a review of last week. And I absolutely loved this one. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was really, really well done. Really beautiful stories. It was entertaining and yet touching, and yeah, anyway, I have the review. I'll post the link again, whichever corner. And then the last book I finished on June 30th was Life Being the Best and Other Stories by Kay Boyle. This is apparently a classic author, and again, short stories. So these are a little different. They're very literary. They have almost no action whatsoever. In the introduction, whoever let's see, the introduction was written by Sandra Whipple Spanier, and she warns the reader that one of the complaints people have about Boyle's writing is that nothing happens, and I found that to be true. Again, the resolutions come in people realizing things about themselves, realizing things about other people, realizing things about their relationships, and having to change their outlook on life based on those realizations. So although I enjoyed it, I think all the stories were very well written. It is definitely not a book for everyone. If you really enjoy literary fiction, you might enjoy that. I intend to do a longer review of this particular book in my next video, so I won't say too much more about it. So that is what I read in June, and that was 11 books. Didn't realize I had read that many. I'm kind of impressed with myself. But to be fair, several of them were very small, short, technically easy to read, not lots of long sentences and words I had to look up and that kind of thing. So yeah. So you tell me, have you read any of these books? Did you like them, not like them? What do you think about them? Hey, if you have book recommendations, put those in the comments as well. And I think that's it. Thank you guys. Again, thank you so much for being here. You guys have a great day and a great week.